Learning English is not hard. What's really hurting you is believing you're doing it right. And maybe you've been studying for months or even years, walking straight into a wall. A wall you don't see, one that doesn't hurt at first, but it's there, quietly blocking your progress. Today, I'm going to help you see it. And yes, it might sting a little, because you're about to realize things nobody ever told you. Mistakes you repeat every single day without noticing, and why all the effort you're putting in isn't really working. But if you stay with me, if you listen to this episode until the end, you will never study English the same way again. I'm Lina. And in this podcast, we talk about what no one tells you about learning real English. So if you've been stuck for a while, this one is for you. I used to think I was doing everything right. I followed every piece of advice I could find, memorize phrases, watch movies, translate songs, repeat what you hear, study grammar, write words over and over again. I even had a notebook. I still remember it, full of expressions I thought would make me fluent, and honestly, I felt proud. Like, yes, I'm doing the work. I'm learning English. But the truth is, I wasn't learning. I was just keeping myself busy enough to feel productive, but not focused enough to actually improve. And then it happened. A friend introduced me to a native speaker. He said, "Why don't you practice a little with her?" And I remember my heart racing. I thought I was ready. We sat down. She smiled. She said something like, "Hey, nice to meet you. So, how long have you been studying English?" And silence. My brain froze. My mouth didn't move. I couldn't understand the question. Something that basic. I smiled back, pretending I had understood. But inside, I felt crushed. It wasn't just embarrassment. It was this cold, quiet realization. I had no idea what I was doing. And the worst part, I had been working so hard, wasting time, doing things that felt like learning, but weren't helping me at all. That moment stayed with me for days. It played on a loop in my head. I started asking myself things I never had the courage to ask. What if I'm just not good at languages? What if my brain isn't wired for this? What if it's too late for me? And maybe you've asked yourself the same questions. Maybe you've been doing everything right, or at least it seems right, but you still feel stuck, still scared, still insecure every time someone speaks too fast, every time you try to say something simple and the words don't come out. But that moment, the one where I froze and felt like a fraud, that was the beginning of everything. Because for the first time, I stopped trying to feel like I was improving, and I started to ask myself what real learning actually looked like. And the question that changed it all for me was this: am I really learning English, or just repeating what I don't understand? So what was I doing wrong? What are so many people doing wrong without even realizing it? We translate everything in our heads. We listen to English. We think in Spanish. Then we translate. Then we speak. Or we freeze. And here's the terrifying part. You might be sabotaging your progress without even knowing it. Every time you translate a sentence in your head, you're building a habit that keeps you stuck. And the more you do it, the harder it becomes to break. It feels harmless, but it's not. It's the reason why you hesitate, why you sound unsure, why you understand grammar, but can't speak. But here's the thing, that's not how your brain is meant to work. Your brain can't function well into languages at the same time, at least not in the beginning. And yet, most people are walking around with this idea. First, I'll master everything in Spanish. Then, I'll magically speak it in English. That's not learning. That's programming confusion. Imagine trying to dance salsa with two songs playing in your ears at the same time. One in Spanish, one in English. Different rhythms, different beats. That's what your brain is going through when you translate everything before speaking. No wonder we freeze. No wonder we sound unsure, or robotic, or take forever to answer even the simplest question. And here's what really hit me. That's exactly what schools and traditional courses teach us to do. They teach you to think about the language instead of teaching you to feel it. But language was never meant to be analyzed first. It was meant to be lived. When you were a child, you didn't sit there thinking, ah yes, subject plus verb plus complement. Now I will say I want milk. No, you saw the milk, you pointed, you said milk. That's how we're wired to learn. By connection, not by translation. And if you want to truly speak English, naturally, fluently, confidently, you need to stop translating every word in your head. You need to start thinking in English, even if it's just with simple words at first, even if it's messy. Let me ask you something. What if you never get there? What if you keep studying for months, for years, and still don't feel fluent? What if you never feel confident speaking in front of people? What if you still panic every time someone talks too fast? What if English always feels like this? Distant, heavy, frustrating. That fear, that quiet, creeping fear, it's something we all carry, but almost never say out loud. We hide it behind I'm busy, or I just need more vocabulary, or one day I'll get there. But deep down, there's a voice that whispers, what if I'm not smart enough? What if something's wrong with me? What if I just don't have the talent for this? And that voice, if you don't stop it, starts building walls inside your mind, walls of doubt, walls of shame, walls that tell you to stay quiet when you should speak. I've been there. I know what it feels like. The nights where you replay a conversation in your head, wishing you had said something better. The moments where someone asks you something simple and you freeze again. The fake smile, the awkward silence, the frustration that you carry home alone. But I need you to hear this, really hear it. You are not the problem. It's not your age. It's not your accent. It's not your brain. It's not too late. The real problem is how they taught you to learn. They gave you broken tools. They made you believe English is about perfection, about getting it right before you speak. They punished mistakes. They taught you rules. Not rhythm, they taught you fear. Not fluency. So, of course you're stuck. But here's the truth. Once you realize the system is broken, you can finally stop blaming yourself. And that's where the real growth begins. Because when you let go of that guilt, you free yourself. You start learning from curiosity, not pressure, from play. Not panic. From purpose. Not perfection. So if you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever thought you were too slow, too late, not good enough, please listen closely. You are not broken. You are just learning in a broken way. And the moment you understand that, you're already starting to heal it. Here is another brutal truth. Most people don't practice English. They just consume it. They watch Netflix, scroll through Instagram, listen to music, podcasts, YouTube videos, and they say, I'm learning English every day. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually used English with your voice? When was the last time you said a sentence out loud, heard yourself, and corrected what didn't sound right? Because if you're only listening, but never speaking, never writing, never interacting, you're not practicing, you're just entertaining yourself in another language. It's passive. And passive learning creates something very dangerous. False confidence. You think you understand until someone talks to you. You think you know the vocabulary until you try to use it in a sentence, and suddenly you feel like you've forgotten everything. That's not failure. That's the natural result of passive exposure. Because fluency doesn't come from watching, it comes from using. Just like you don't get fit by watching people at the gym, you don't speak English by watching. People speak it, and I know why you might avoid active practice. Because it's uncomfortable. Because you don't want to hear your own voice. Because you're afraid of making mistakes. But listen, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Messy, awkward, honest progress. So here's a simple shift. Every time you watch something in English, turn it into an opportunity to respond. Say one sentence out loud. Imitate one voice. Shadow one phrase. 1 minute of active speaking is worth more than an hour of passive listening. And if you start doing this, even just 5 minutes a day, you will feel the difference. Not after a year, after a week. Your mouth will move faster. Your brain will hesitate less. You'll start owning the words, not just recognizing them. And that's when English becomes part of you, not something you study, something you live. Can I tell you something real? There was a time I felt like a complete fraud. I would open my English notebook and see all the pages filled. So much effort, so much time. And yet, I still panicked when someone asked me something simple, and every time that happened, I felt smaller, like my progress didn't matter, like I wasn't enough. I used to look at other people, fluent people, and wonder, what do they have that I don't? Why is it so easy for them and so hard for me? And it broke me a little more each time. Until one day, I got tired of pretending I was okay, tired of chasing perfection, tired of studying a language I wasn't really living. So I made a decision. I stopped studying English. Not forever, but I stopped treating it like a subject, like homework, like something I had to force. And I started doing something completely different. I started living in English. And no, it wasn't fancy. I didn't move to another country. I didn't hire a native teacher. I didn't pay for some miracle method. I just changed the way I saw the language. Every moment became a chance to interact with English. When I cooked, I said the ingredients in English. When I watched a video, I paused and repeated out loud. When I listened to music, I sang it, wrong at first, but louder each time. I even recorded myself, just to hear how I really sounded. And slowly, English stopped being something outside of me. It became a part of me. Not perfect, not native, but honest, fluent, alive. And that was enough. You don't need more courses. You don't need more grammar rules. You need a connection, an emotional reason to speak, even if your voice shakes. Because fluency is not a result. It's a relationship you build with the language. And like any relationship, you have to show up, even when it's messy, especially when it's messy. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck, if you're ready to actually feel progress, not just hope for it, let me give you one method. Simple, powerful, 15 minutes a day. That's all you need. And no, this is not magic. It's repetition, intention, and action. Here's what you're going to do. Step 1, choose one short video in English, something you like. A story, a clip, anything under 2 minutes. Not a grammar lesson, a real voice. Step 2, watch it once, without subtitles. Write down what you understood, just the meaning, not every word. Step 3, watch it again, this time with subtitles. Pause, compare, correct, see what you missed. And why? Step 4. Play it again. And repeat every sentence out loud. Match the speed, the tone, the rhythm. Feel how it flows in your mouth. Step 5. Record your voice saying the same sentences. Listen to yourself. Yes, it will sound strange, but that's how you grow. Then do it again tomorrow with a new video. That's it. 5 steps, 15 minutes, 7 days, and you'll start noticing things. You'll understand faster, speak smoother, think quicker, and most importantly, you'll feel the language coming alive in you. Because this is not about perfection. This is about creating a real connection between your brain, your mouth, and the language. It's not passive. It's not painful. It's powerful. And if you just do this, you'll learn more in 1 week than in months of passive watching. If you saw yourself in this episode, if even one part of this message hit something deep inside you, then don't ignore it. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. The old way of learning, it's not for you anymore. You know what's broken. You know what needs to change. And now you have a way forward. That means you're not lost. You're not behind. You're just ready. And that's something powerful. But now you have a choice. You can let this episode be a moment, something nice to hear, and then forget. Or you can let it be a turning point. Because here's the truth. Once you know what's holding you back, you have a responsibility to move forward. And if you're ready to keep growing, emotionally, mentally, practically, then I have something for you. There's another episode, and it's the one that changed everything for so many listeners, because the real journey starts now.